This is a Nekko Media podcast.
What's your pleasure, sir?
Welcome, Cinephiles and Cinebites. I be your host, Annika Pussyfoot, and welcome to Cinebite number 42. The boys Mox and Ono are joined by Joey Sorrentino of My Little Rascal Productions. His production company has several films out, which delve into horror, thriller, and suspense, both original stories and adaptations. The three talk about Joey's work, different styles of filmmaking, his network of filmmakers, and the challenges with working with people on set. Joey was very insightful, informative, and an overall awesome guest. Mox and Ono had a fun time during this chat. No introduction needed, the three get right into it. Schrody's Ladder.
Hey, what's up, Mox? Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? Not too much. We were having Skype problems. First, we couldn't get each other on the line, and then we couldn't add you. So it was like, fuck it, let's just that phone.
Too much technology, bro.
I know. We hardly use Skype too. Like we just started using it for interviews, but it's still something that fucking sucks.
Yeah, it took me like 10 minutes just to answer the damn thing. This is only the second time I've used it. Another one was a podcast like a year ago, and pretty much went through the same thing.
I know.
It's all good.
Cool. Well, thanks for agreeing to talk with us today, man. Kind of excited.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
We saw your films. I mean, they're just killer.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Well, first off,
Precious Moments, definitely.
yeah, Precious Moments. Yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah, we really enjoyed making it.
Let's see.
That one is probably my favorite too. I mean, I just did not expect that film. Like I told you on Twitter, like fucking I almost cried, man.
Yeah, when I was writing that, getting close towards the end, I really didn't know which way I was going to twist it, and once I figured that one out, it was hard to type those last few sentences in, and even I got emotional doing it. It was like a finality involved in that. So when I got the last sentence typed and the period put in, and I put the save, it was an emotional moment. I felt bad what I did.
So okay, that's another thing I was going to ask. Like, I noticed at least with the two films, you like kind of subversive or twisty endings. But it sounds like you didn't know where you were going with Precious Moments when you started it. It just kind of evolved there.
Well, you know what? When you're doing these things, it's like a roller coaster ride. Every time you go up and then you're going to go down, and what's around the next turn, and you think you have an ending, it just evolves until you finally do that last period for the sentence and go, that's the one right there. That's the ending.
Nice. So, like, okay, by the time you finished the first draft, had that ending arrived, or this is numerous drafts in where you got the idea for the end?
I'd say maybe by it wasn't even a draft. It was like the way I do things, because I'm an idiot. I write them in my head. I put them down on paper, and then before I actually get to an ending, I play with it. I'll let a couple of days go by, and I'll roll it over, and then it comes to you, man. I can't explain. It comes to you, and when it comes to you, you go, "That's the one right there," and then you finish it up.
You just kind of know.
Yeah,
you've hit that
as best you can.
Now, having seen only, I guess, two of your films, would you say that's kind of a signature to expect from your guys' productions, that the ending is going to be something that we're not prepared for?
Definitely. Yeah. You don't want to read something or watch something where you pretty much know how this thing is going to end. So if it's heading that way, you gotta pause and get on another train and say, okay, I gotta find another destination, because you want to leave people at the end with that whoa kind of factor, and shit, I want to see some more.
Yeah, well, you definitely accomplished that. Is now when you approach, I guess, your projects or your writing projects or producing projects, um, it feels like you're looking for new and fresh ways to do things. Is that kind of a response to, the shit that exists out there? Or that's just something you always have done?
Man, I tell you, bro, coming up with an original idea, you got about as much luck as finding $1 million in a bag. Everything that could be done has pretty much been done. Then you come across something like years ago when they first came out with the Blair Witch. Okay, that was OG. And then when they did the Paranormal Activity, all right, that was OG. So even if you start something that it's kind of been done, you got to find a way to get different colors on the wall and make it your own.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like that view of it, because I also feel that way too. I feel everything completely like never been done before has been done, but it's about finding a new way to do it and your own personal way to do it. And
yeah,
I think that definitely comes across in what we've seen so far.
So I'm sure you guys have you've probably seen Paranormal Activity. When I watched that in the movies, it was great, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did not expect it. Here's what happened. I had a burnt DVD of it laying around for 3 or 4 years. I was like, fuck it. Everybody kept telling me it was good. I was like, dude, I'm over, handheld shaky cam found footage bullshit. Then one night I was at a homie's house smoking weed, and he starts explaining me the plot. He's like walking me through, and I'm getting scared as he's just walking me through the story. I'm like, oh fuck, I get home and Netflix this bitch.
I hear you. And when I watched it in the movies, it was so incredible, because I'm with my family and we're sitting there for like freaking almost like 2 hours watching this movie, and nothing is really happening, but you could hear a pin drop in the theater. I mean, nobody would. And then when something did happen, a door would like slam, or you would hear a fucking scream go out, like, what the hell? And it really, so you sat there almost like it with bated breath, not wanting to breathe for the whole movie. And then at the end, it was like, bam, right in your face. And it was like, wow, what a great concept. They took something, they only did that on a $15,000 budget, man. It was absolutely amazing. There was really no SFX. There was no nothing. And it made over like $1 billion. So God bless America.
I know, man. Yeah, look, I'm glad you touched on that too, because, after seeing it the first time and being so absorbed, upon further viewings, I'm like, yeah, not much happens. And the scariest part is literally like, a door slamming, and then the climax is someone levitates through the air. I'm like, they make it terrifying.
Yep. You could watch a movie where, and I, personally, I kind of hate them. I grew up on them, but where, within the first 30 minutes, you lost 340 people already. And they got killed in the most grotesque fashion. You get so desensitized. It's like, I don't care how many people die. I've seen every death there is. Kill me next, please, because I really don't want to. So what filmmakers should, and a lot of them do, like the people that did that, when you could come up with that kind of a concept and do so much better than the 8th sequel where 15,000 people are dead now, you are genius.
I mean, fuck yeah. I mean, it makes monetary sense, and it works for the audience, tell that kind of narrative. Just the suspense they build, and fucking, I feel like that was a great take.
And with the story behind that, when they showed that to Spielberg after the original guy made it, and according to the story, Spielberg had to shut it off halfway through and said, buy it, just buy it. So they bought the guy out, and they went on, he made his, but then they went on to make their hundreds of millions, which it's all good.
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck.
Yeah, dude that made it, he got paid good.
Right.
Hell yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like the underlying story is what is so awesome about it, because even the 58 million sequels that
I'm just one of those people that, I loved the first. I could dig the second, but when we start wandering now and we're going into like it's like watching a Star Trek or a Star Wars thing where now we're gonna do Obi-Wan as a child, now we're gonna do Yoda's cousin as a child, and I don't even know where I am anymore. I don't. And they'll throw in a Princess Leia, and I'm like, how the hell? Yeah, I'm like, wow, we went forward. Okay, I could dig that. And we went back a little bit. All right, now we're in the middle of the first of the second, and I'm okay. I give up. I give up.
I feel that way too. I truly feel that way too. I'm like, serious. We'll make our way to the theaters if they can give us a good story. But yeah, just every new promo and new Star Wars coming, new this coming, and that's like the trend with everything now. Everybody, the main character's brother, we're finding his story out too now.
Right. And that's the beauty again of a Blair Witch or a paranormal. It's not your base. See, Hollywood, they like to, because they're putting up money. They like to bank on what they know produces. So when you come up with a paranormal or a Blair Witch, that is out the box. So for them to take a chance on that, it's a big leap. When they could do Star Wars 27 rather than this thing over here, which we don't know if we're going to make. We know we got a million people still going to watch this one, so it's a chance for them to take. So, but when I do writing, I keep the paranormal movie in my brain, not seen or anything like that. The concept, originality, how to do so much more with so much less. And when we did Because Reasons, that actually was a collaboration with an author I met on Twitter. His name is Isaac Dawn. He's at Isaac Dawn. And I just started talking with him, and I asked, I said, let me see some of your stuff. Maybe we could do something. And he sent me some of his stories. They're really, really good. So I contracted with him to do 3. And I took the first one, which was Because Reasons. And basically the story, which was an excellent story, it really was just dialogue between the girl and the victim in the trunk. And I said to myself, how could I possibly invest money and film with just, I mean, how many times am I going to have the girl crossing her arms or rolling her eyes? It wasn't going to work on film. In a short story, it did. Film, it didn't. So I rewrote it, keeping most of his meat on the bones and added a lot of different stuff. And I presented it to him. I says, what do you think? And I got back a, whoa, that's fantastic. And then we just,
I like the little Easter egg when she murders the father. He's reading one of
yeah. Well, that was pretty cool. We wanted to do so much more that day too, but then we had the weather. It was weather considerations and everything, and I was so freaking stressed because this was my first collab. And when I produce something, we do everything in the day. We shoot in one day. We have guys get here early in the morning if we got to work till 10, 11 o'clock. But I only have a budget for that day. So we got to get to, so what I'm doing, Because Reasons, like everything else, I'm starting at A. I have to find a way to get to Z. And I kind of rushed through that with the crew because my guys are meticulous. They want 75 angle shots of everything, and I love them for it. This one here, I was nervous. So we could have done a lot more, but I just had to get to Z. I had to get to the ending. I couldn't leave. I got a beginning. I got to have a middle, and I got to have an ending. And again, we're talking about, I spun that ending at the end. I just said, how can we make this different? Because this is what people are expecting. And so we just flipped it, and it worked.
So, Because Reasons was all shot in one day?
Everything we've done was shot in one day. It's amazing, too, because in the film business, you hear all the horror stories about dude got his camera, or the lighting didn't work, or the sound, that the main actress or actor didn't show. We have been so freaking fortunate, man. We haven't run into any of that. And everybody knows we got to get this done. We spent 9.5 hours in my doctor's clinic filming Precious Moments to get 4 minutes of film. 9.5 hours we were there, but we got it done.
Wow.
I think my doctor was popping Prozac in the back.
Wait, so they closed the clinic though for you, right? They weren't seeing patients that day, were they?
No, it was one of his days off, and he says, "Come on in on a Sunday," and then I was nervous. I said, "Well, I only need about 4 hours." My guy said, "We're going to need more than that." He let us stay there throughout the whole day.
Nice.
So again, another example of getting lucky.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's really cool. Huh. Wow, 9 hours for 4 minutes of film. That's crazy.
Yep. Could you imagine that? But that's what it takes. When you film, you always want to get more, so you have like more to work with. Even if you don't use all of it, more is always better.
Nice. I gotta ask, what did you have for our craft services that day?
Well, we're an Italian family, so whenever
Nice.
the guys are coming out here, they know they're getting gas money, they're getting paid for the day, they're getting fed very, very well,
Nice.
and they get of course, their IMDb credits. But nobody walks out of this house hungry. If you do, you didn't eat.
Right. Oh, okay, right on.
Do you work with the same crew repeatedly?
Yeah, we've been fortunate again to do that. When we first started this thing, it was like it all came about because I like to write screenplays, and I used to send them out to other production companies, figuring, hey, you like it, you'll buy it, you'll make it, and you fall into like what's called the black hole. If you're lucky enough to get contacted, it'll be like, well, we can't read this because you don't have an agent. All right, I'll get an agent. Then you try to contact an agent, and he's just like, well, we're not accepting it because we don't know you. Okay, so it's like it's a black hole. You send your work out there, and nothing happens. So one day, my wife is sitting around. She says, "What if we made our own film?" And I almost fell on the floor. I said, "Make our own film? What are we gonna do on an iPhone?" I said, "Well, you know any camera people? You know any actors?" And then it clicked in my head. So wait a minute. Why don't we advertise? And then she's like, "What are you, an idiot? What do you mean advertise?" I said, "Yeah, we'll put in the classified." Once we did that, man, we had to turn our phones off because the response was amazing. And most of these dudes, the first one we did, Gatekeepers, everybody worked for free. They just wanted to be on film. They just wanted to film. They just wanted to sound. So, that's how we started. And yeah, we've been with the same crew. We try to mix up the cast here and there. But if somebody else, if somebody that we worked with previously fits a certain role, I'll give them the shot, man. Because we love these people. We really love them.
That's awesome. That's really fortunate. That's really cool and lucky. Yeah. People to work
Well, I would
for
think
free.
too, right? When you have a limited time and budget, working with people you can count on is probably clutch, especially if they they know how to work with you as well. What you expect, how you work, how you maneuver.
Absolutely. And the first guy we actually, part of the crew that we contacted was Roger Glass. And Roger's a young dude, man. And he was just out of college and doing his film thing. And it was between him and another guy, way more experienced, would have cost more. But dude could, come in, one of those guys, I'm in and out, we do this thing in 8 hours. But when I was talking with Roger, it was just how calm this young kid was. Every time I would ask him a question, can we do this or can we do that? Or how can we do? Joey, no problems. Joey, no worries. Yes, we could do that. There was something about him. I had a feeling. I go, this is like what they call the diamond in the rough. If I can get a hold of this guy and he's half as good as he sounds, he's just starting his career. So this is a great thing. And I hooked up with Roger, and there's been no looking back ever since. He is such a talented director of photography. He's amazing.
That's awesome, man. And fucking, you're right. I think it is diamond in the rough. You caught him at probably the best point in his career, and now you have
absolutely
on his way up.
Yeah, and him and Daniel Brown, who also does DP, they're both young. They're both amazing, and like you said, for some reason, both of these people, because what we do is I send them the script first. They prepare shots. mentally. They prepare shots on paper. We talk about it, and there's times like you said, they can almost like read my mind, what I'm thinking of, what I'm trying to look at, a certain shot, a certain angle, how to catch it. And I step back half the time and I go, guys, I'm going to have a cigarette or something. Just do what you got to do. And I leave them to and they film. They just film, man, and they get it done.
Oh yeah.
Nice, nice.
Going back to your approach to adaptations, like how do you know what to change and what to keep to stay true to the source material? Because I would think changing an ending, not knowing that it's this particular ending for because reasons, but changing any ending can kind of warp the entire narrative.
Yes, yes, that's always a chance you take. That's why this is the first collab I've done with Isaac. And when I did something like that, it's Isaac's story originally. So I'm not forcing nothing. I just presented him with something. I said, do you like this? Would you like to do it? And if he would have said, no, Joey, I want to keep the end, no problem, man. No problem. It's your story. I'm not trying to, deter from your story there. But when he saw it, he was like, whoa, that's fantastic. Leave it. So when I was doing that with him, I presented him with an alternate version, which was as true as we could stay within the story, with some other things, just because writing a short story and getting those visuals in your brain is a lot different than seeing them on film. When you got film, you got to keep people's attention span, especially these days. People got like a 10-second attention span. So you got to catch them early and draw them along to where, okay, where's this going? What's happening? Where's this going? And then punch them in the face at the end. And that's a successful kind of a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for me in short narratives, that punch at the end really kind of punctuates it for me. And there's a lot of short films that kind of just leave open ended, or I was like, okay, is this just the beginning of a longer story? Like, what the fuck am I watching here?
Right. Yeah. And I've seen many short films where, and I don't, art is art, and I don't knock anybody's work. But I've seen a lot of short films where I'm watching this, I'm going, like you just said, what the fuck am I watching? And why am I still watching this? Okay, hopefully there's something at the end. Oh God, let there be something at the end. And then the end is worse than what I watched. It's like I just wasted the last 4 or 5 minutes of my life for nothing. I can't even get that back.
That is definitely, I think, the chance we take as viewers. Like, I'm really kind of when watching something that I've never seen or never heard of, like I'm always a bit skeptical, or like, oh, I don't know, could be good, but could be a waste of an hour and 30 minutes. So it's like, oh.
Depending on the length of the film, like if it's a short, if it says 15 minutes, I'm not going to give you 15 minutes, probably. I'm going to give you a few minutes to catch me, to get me on the hook. If you do that, I'll give you a few more minutes to see if, I'm going to bite anymore. So, and that's the whole thing with whether you write a story, whether you write a film, a show, that's the formula you got to follow. You got to hook them. You got to keep pulling on that freaking string. And then you got to, you got to reel them in at the end. Otherwise, you wasted your time and theirs.
That's so true. Now, I guess from a story aspect, as a writer, and I guess you take that with you as a viewer. What do you think makes a narrative not only interesting but keeps you on that hook? Like, just I guess nothing specific, but just generally, what hooks you? What do you think it is? Is it an emotional draw or?
Different people go for different things. Like your slasher movies, you got your genre, your crowd for that. That the more blood you give them, they ain't going nowhere. They want to see this body count. Or you got your emotional crowd that's like, give me something that's going to affect me inside. And then you try to appeal to everybody. If you could appeal to everybody, you made a good film. That you can get maybe the slasher people that enjoyed it. You get the emotional people that enjoyed it. You get the people who watch film just to watch an intelligent film be made. So if you could get all three, that's fantastic. But that's one hell of a leap too. So you got to whatever it is, whatever genre you happen to be doing. Now, Precious Moments, that was a step out because we usually do short horror. This wasn't horror, but I figured, okay, it might have an aspect of the paranormal in it. But if you're going to go for a specific audience, then you got to tailor to their needs. And we do short horror, but I know I wouldn't want to anyway. But we don't have where we're going to have all these heads rolling and arms chopped off and everything. So you try to do it more or less in a paranormal activity type where it's horror, it's intelligent horror, and it all works.
It does too. Because I remember watching my first viewing of Precious Moments. I'm like looking at the daughter, and I'm like, she doesn't. I know she seems concerned about the mom, but she doesn't look distraught. And look at the father; he's broken up as fuck, and that really comes across. And at first I started getting irritated, like, why is she not more broken up? But the payoff explains everything.
The girl that did that, Layla, the young girl that did that, Layla, she was that kid. She showed the guy that played the doctor is Danny Plaza. He's a Philadelphia police officer who did one of my first ones with Gatekeepers. Lila is actually his granddaughter. So I was looking for a young girl to do this role, and he suggested. He says, "Hey, the kid's done a little act." Matter of fact, they're related to is it Audrey or Aubrey? Aubrey Plaza. She's on one
really?
of those. Oh yeah. That's oh my God. I think that's Danny's niece, something like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
Layla is also related to them. So when he suggested, hey, Layla, she's had a little acting. I said, look, we did an audition real quick, a video audition. I loved the kid immediately. I said, let's do it. And then the chance to get Danny to play opposite his granddaughter, it was a great thing. I know he loved it. I know she loved it, but I had to tamp her down too, as far as what you were saying with her lack of emotion. That's what I needed. And the kid, man, like a champ, she just came through like a pro.
She really did, man.
Wow.
On the second viewing, it just plays so beautifully. So yeah, I was wondering about what direction she was given, to kind of meter out for the payoff to. So.
Yeah, well, she had read it also, and Danny, who does some acting also, he helped her out. But when we all got together, and I met her for the first time, we just, we went scene by scene. And I tried to tell her, don't get nervous, because if you get nervous, if you miss a line, if you get confused, we just say cut, we stop, we take a little break, we'll regroup. Everything is beautiful. And I think once the kid knew that, there was a lot of pressure for her. She's like 9 years old now. She got all these cameras in her face, and she's making a movie and everything, playing opposite her grandfather. But you see none of that in the film. And
Right.
I don't really think it was my coaching her, my direction. I just think this kid's a natural.
Well, she does, play well on film. I mean, that was another good find, a lucky find.
Oh yeah. Like I said, we should be called, instead of My Little Rascal, we should be called One Take Productions, because again, almost everything we've done, we do it in a take. I think in all the films that we've done so far, like 4 of them, if we had to yell cut and redo a scene 3 times, that's a lot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Shit. Now, say you get the perfect take. Do you get an additional take for safety, or once you know you've got it, you just know and you move on?
Roger and Daniel, I'm like, oh my God, we got it. That's perfect. Again, because I'm an idiot. Roger and Daniel will be like, wait a minute, let's do it. And I'm like, guys, get it, do it, whatever they want to do. I step out of their way. I'm just, I don't know. I got a title. What is executive producer, something like that. So these are the guys. All I do is I put words on paper, or I collab with somebody who put words on paper, and and I find the right people who are actually going to bring this thing to life. So I do not like to interfere with them when they're working with the actors. I've had so many actors that because I give a lot of latitude, and when we're getting set up for a scene or something, one of them might say, "Hey, Joey, what if I added this line?" Or, "Joey, what if I added that?" I'm like, "Oh man, that's fantastic. I didn't think of that myself. Go for it." And I love the ad lib. Ever since I found out that Roy Scheider in Jaws, when he said we're going to need a bigger boat, that wasn't in the film, that he ad libbed that. I'm like, oh yes, look what human beings could do when given their own devices. So I'm a big fan of that. And I tell the guys, if it's something I don't like, then we don't do it. But I haven't run into anything I don't like yet.
That actually answers two of my questions. You know, as a producer, how closely do you manage your directors? So you like to just kind of give them room to breathe and do them?
Without a doubt, because since I've known Roger and Daniel, and I know we're on the same page. You don't work with the same person twice if you ain't on the same page, especially when you're trying to film a short or feature or whatever. But since you know you're on the same page, and these guys actually have become an extension of me. When we did Precious Moments, so many times, and we love selfies, I was out of the picture. I didn't even know they was filming scenes. I might have been in the back talking to somebody else, and excuse me, I'll come back up and go, "Okay, we ready to do this?" Joey, we did that. We did that. We did the other one. And I'm like, "Get the hell out of here! You did." And they go, "Yeah, we're moving along." So I mean, they're not an extension of me. They're better than me, but they're in my brain somehow. That's a scary place to be. But and Roger's not even a big horror fan. You know, it kind of scares him. Daniel does short horror, but you can't find better gems than these guys.
That's awesome. I mean, so it's mostly about finding the right person for the job and then getting out of their way and letting them do it.
To me, it is. I mean, you could have, like I said, the other option I had as far as a production team. This is a guy that would come in, and it's just like, where do you want me to point the camera? They're really not concerned with the story. They're not concerned with the beginning or the ending or anything. They just, where do you want? It's like if you hire a photographer and you say, take pictures of my wife. Okay, well, what do you want me to take a picture of? Photographer should have his own vision also of what's the best way to capture this wedding. How do you do this to make these people never forget this wedding day? That's the kind of person you want. I got two of them. I don't even got one. I got two. So, on our football team, we got a little depth.
Depth chart running deep.
Stay away from the guy that just says, where you want me to point the camera. I don't want you to point the camera, dude. See ya.
Yeah, so as opposed to gun for hires, you like someone more of a teammate.
Yeah, because it so helps to have, you have people. We do a lot of the filming on location in my house. We've used other locations too, but a lot of it is here. So when these people walk through my door, again, being an Italian family, we kind of like to consider them, and they have become extended family. So we have a good time when we're all together, between eating, bullshitting, reminiscing, and then filming. So it's a happy day all around. These guys can't wait to do the next film. When I contact them and say, "Hey guys, we're going to do another thing in a few months," they're like, "Can't wait. I'm there." And SFX girl, Melissa Marie, who did a lot of this stuff. Well, she did Gatekeepers also. She did a lot of the stuff in all the stuff in We Love Selfies and Because Reasons. She is such another Philly girl. She is so talented that to have these people, man, it's luck upon luck.
Nice. Hey, Joey. So since you guys are like a one take kind of crew, what's the pre-production like? Do you guys spend a lot of time on that before heading?
Good one.
Well, pretty much everything is in everybody's brains before we even get together, because once let's say I send the script out in December,
Yeah.
it's probably not until February or March. So actors, DPs, my sound guy, they're already getting this stuff in their brain how they want to do it. So it's not like everybody's showing up and, okay, where you want me to point the camera.
Yeah.
They already have in their mind how they want to do scene by scene, shot by shot, line by line. That's when actors might say to me, or beforehand, could I add this, or could I change this? Because I just don't like the way it looks. And so we're pretty much ready to go to start filming the minute we're done having breakfast.
Oh wow. Okay.
We have some damn good breakfast here.
Yeah. Yes. Nice. Yes. Right on. Okay. Because yeah, I've experienced where you know people would show up, like Craigslist ads, and it's
Oh God,
like
Craigslist.
yeah, they're like, okay, so how are we gonna do this? And it's like, oh, we're shooting today. It's like you didn't. There's no prep. It's like,
Well,
okay.
I've had one horror story since I started, and I'm not going to mention the actor's name,
Yeah, sure.
but we did have a guy who we met, and he was going to do our trailer for Gatekeepers, and he pretty much had 2 lines to say. So he showed up, and he had previously been at my house going over some stuff, had dinner with my wife and his girl, and he seemed like one hell of a nice guy. When he showed up, he had a house full of people, and we was already getting the sense of a diva act. And since this was a freebie, they just came to do it on their own. I gave him a bottle of Jack, which I assumed was going to be for when he got back to Philly. As you know, token, thank you very much. Plus,
Wow.
well, that token didn't last. Now, mind you, I had to go out into the woods and other places with most of the crew to do. So this thing was going to be last. I'm getting calls out in the woods that not only did he drink the bottle, he took painkillers. He brought an entourage of 3 people, 3 very, very large people. I don't know who they were. I don't know what they were there for except to eat the food, and they did. So he drank the bottle. He took the painkillers. He passed out on my bed for like 3 hours. My wife had to wake him up.
Oh,
Then
wow.
he's hitting on my daughter behind everybody's back. He's hitting on the girl who we was employing to do the sound. And I knew none of this until after the shoot. Then when he showed up to do his line, he pretty much flubbed that also. And when it was all over, I tried to keep my mouth shut because we had already filmed and I wanted to keep the film that we had. But as a father and everything, I couldn't do it. So I kind of like contacted him and really ripped him a new asshole. And then I got the thing, don't use my likeness in the film, which turned out the best anyway, because we had to reshoot it the next day, the scene that he was in. But he said to me, and this was the killer. He says, well, you guys weren't prepared. I should have been in the room by myself. There was too many people around me. I was just getting into character. Dude had 2 lines to say. You needed a bottle of Jack, 6 painkillers, a freaking nap on my bed, and my daughter's phone number to get in character to say 2 lines. I told him, I'm glad I didn't give you 3 pages to do because you would have been shooting heroin. So that's the only horror story we've had, and it worked out for the best anyway, because that's when we met our new sound guy, and we wound up shooting the scenes that he was in the next day. This is the only time we ever went over a day, and it couldn't be helped. But people came in and said, "Hey, yeah, let's finish it up, let's clean it up," and we did without him. So we kind of used that amongst us as like a running joke. Everything went fine as long as X wasn't around.
Wow. That's quite the story. He took it to the extreme.
Yeah, it was amazing. I could, and the guy really hasn't been in a lot to have this kind of. Nobody else that we've worked with has exhibited that kind of a diva attitude, and you ain't done shit to even get the letter D in diva. Show me you're entitled to the freaking D, and I might give you the IVA.
Wow.
showing up
Man.
trying to be Christian Bale already, and he only did it with a local commercial. It's like, dude,
Two lines.
take it down.
And what was
Two
funny too
lines.
was when we finally brought him out to the woods to do his scene, and the scene was real quick. It was three police officers who were coming down a wooded trail and observing the clues, blood, body part here and there. So I had them walking down the trail as three police officers would in a staggered formation, one in the front, one in the middle. When they got ready, and I was talking to Roger last night, and they turned around and we were going to film the scene. They all three. He arranged this. All three of them were like shoulder to shoulder. I thought I was watching The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I said, "What are you guys doing?" And they said, "Well, we're ready to move into." I said, "No, not well. What is it? Three amigos?" I said, "This is not how cops would come down the trail. They don't walk down the trail shoulder to shoulder." And so, there it is.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Well, that happened early on, right? In your
That was our first Gatekeepers, and Gatekeepers was a learning experience. We enjoyed it. Wasn't the best, but again, it's the first film we ever shot. So whether you're writing, whether you're doing a podcast, whether you're doing a film, your first time, that bugs you got to work out.
Definitely. And I guess it's good for the first time out, right, to have that horror story and then be able to overcome it. And then luckily nothing since.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right, man. You hit the nail on the head there, bro. It was so great to have that because we've gotten so much more into it as we've gone along, loving everything we've done, our preparation and everything else. So you do not want to encounter that kind of thing. If you're going to have a problem, get rid of it quick. It's like the old saying, can't get rid of it fast before it spreads. That's what you got to do in anything in life, but especially when you're making a film. You got to find the right people, and you got to make sure they're the right people before you go ahead. The girl that did Because Reasons, Krista West, she actually came to Pennsylvania from Tennessee just to do this part. And I didn't know she was from Tennessee. And when I told her, I says, "Wait a minute, there might be some confusion." I said, "I didn't know. I thought you were more local. That's a little. You don't have to do." She insisted, "No, I want to be." She liked the part a lot. She said, "There's a lot for me to do with this thing. I want it." I said, "Okay, but I can't really afford to bring all the way. No problem. I'll take care of it myself." I put her up in the hotel room. We paid her and fed her and everything. But the girl, she drove us. So she drove like 13 hours to get here. She brought her own wardrobe. She brought like 2 freaking suitcases full of clothes that we, again, when we do wardrobe, we kind of do things on the fly. It's like, depending on the scene, I'll ask an actor because I don't really provide much wardrobe. Do you have a suit and tie? Do you have a big funny pair of sunglasses? Maybe a big floppy hat? If they do, they do. If they don't, and I feel I need that, then I'll go get it. But if you have it, you save me some money. We could just use that. So this girl was absolutely amazing, man. The way she showed up, her attitude, her professionalism, her wardrobe, and everything. And you can't. And she's from this. Isaac Dawn is also from Tennessee, so it was like, wow, this is kind of freaky. This dude's from Tennessee. She's from Tennessee. They're all coming in. They'll work on the film that me and him collab. I said, wow, this is getting better.
Wow, that's really cool.
Well, yeah,
so we just hope shit gets better every time that we do something. And we're working on a new one now. I got the script done, but it's going to be a few months before we actually film it. It's called Cassandra, and it's a short horror, and it's kind of I'm trying to make this unique as possible. It's kind of a take on modern technology, and I came up with this idea because for Christmas, my daughter gets me this Alexa. You know who Alexa is, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to I'm fucking around with this thing, and I'm talking to it. I'm trying to give it a personality, which you can't do. And then I'm sitting there one night, I'm half drunk, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, what if one of these things kind of had its own personality and was evolving day by day. And once that just popped into my head, I said, okay, man, let's get the keyboard out. Let's just start typing. And
Nice.
we did the roller coaster thing, round and up and down. And I can't wait to start filming this one.
Nice.
Nice. I mean, I think that could definitely be horrifying. You know.
Yeah, and what's cool about it too is I like to keep things like if something out there is like trending or becoming very popular, and you hit on it, then whatever it might be, you got an even better chance of success because it's like everybody knows this kind of a contraption, but not everybody knows Cassandra, but they will.
Right.
Wow.
So,
I
go ahead.
was just gonna ask, because you got all these shorts going on. Any plans, for maybe a full length feature?
We would. I would absolutely love. I got some feature length scripts. The problem with that is, being that all of us still have day jobs, unfortunately, you got to be able to coordinate everybody's schedule, and we only shoot on weekends when people are off. So you got to be able to coordinate everybody's weekends, and you got to be able to make sure again that when you start at A, you got to be able to finish at Z with the cast that you have. In other words, if you start, let's say I start you as the lead actor, and this film might take, because of everybody's availability, 6 months to finish. I need you at the end of the day, 6 months later, to film maybe that last scene. So, excuse me, we would love to, and there are ways around it. I could take you as the lead actor, and we could say, okay, Saturday and Sunday, we're filming all your scenes. Right. This way, if God forbid you want to join a convent or become a monk or something, you don't want to be bothered no more. We already got the scenes done. You could do it that way also, but then it takes a little time. I'm going to try to figure a way how to do that. Yeah. And as soon as I can, you guys will know about it.
Right on.
That sounds awesome. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I've worked on some films that have shot across months, and that exact issue comes into play. The continuity, like, okay, this person, they didn't say that they're moving to LA. So
exactly.
Now,
yes. Yes. Not only that,
hairstyle is different.
Yeah. Oh, there's a million. Dude, there's a million things that you gotta. And I stress over a pimple on my face. So having something like that going on, I don't know if I can handle it. But yeah, there's not only those things, but what if your camera guy moves to LA? Now you got to get another camera guy. You got to hope he works with you the same way. You got to hope his equipment matches up with the equipment that we used previously. Otherwise, guess what? You got to go back to square one, and that's a disaster.
A friend of ours that we also interviewed, actually it was our first interview, he is stuck in that exact loop. His short film runs maybe, I think, about 30 minutes, but he's been working on it for 3 years, and he's on his 4th iteration of it because of all of that. Actors moving away, losing some crew members, change of producers, unmatchable takes or unmatchable visuals within the same scene. So, I mean, it's just a nightmare for him as far
shit,
as reshooting.
3 years for a short. Yeah. That's, my God. That's why me, again, as an amateur doing this, and I don't speak about anybody else's work, that's why I like to do it wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. If it was going to, I'd love to do a 30-minute one. I think the most we pushed was like 15. But if it was going to be a 30, at the work for me, I'll have to have people come back the next day and then, cover that expense also. Because usually when we do something like that, I have a budget. This is X amount of dollars right here. This covers everything, including the freaking food to get, your pay, and whatever else. So there's nothing left for like day 2. So I would have to, make arrangements to. But when you're doing, especially a short, because you see what this guy 3 years for a short. Imagine with a feature. So when you're doing a short, I think rule of thumb, get that shit done immediately, so you don't have to worry. Camera guy can't come. This one died. The other one, got drunk. There's so many variables could go wrong, and so that's just me. Get it? That's why we try to do everything. We have done everything in one day.
I wish that I had spoke with more filmmakers like you before I took my first project on. For one, it was too long a narrative for my experience and skill level. It just totally got away from me. And then all the challenges on the day, like we shot without any permits. We shot at
guerrilla shooting.
A lot of yeah, guerrilla, like literally.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Oh yeah, we did that our first time. We're gonna do a scene where two people come out of a college, and I contacted the college and I said, hey, can we just they're just going to walk out the doors, and we're going, sure, no problem, we'd love that publicity. Oh my God, thank you for calling. $75,000 bond. I said, what? Fuck this. So the next day I said, you know what? Let's just go there, walk through the door, turn around, walk out the door. We're filming. Bye, hello, we're out of here. So yeah, guerrilla shoot, baby, whatever you can.
Yeah, that's the best.
I know, like. For anyone listening out there, like, yeah, a lot of places are cool with you being there, but you got to carry some kind of insurance rider, which can cost a fucking fortune. Especially
oh my God,
yeah. In there like 10 minutes,
10 minutes. This was 2, dude. 2 minutes we would have been there. 2 minutes.
Oh man!
I'm going to put up a $75,000 bond for 2 minutes. What do you? Steven Spielberg wouldn't do that.
Oh man!
Your insurance rider is more than the budget of my total project.
Yeah, exactly. And this was the free one.
Now, some issues that I encountered was not having a production manager and not having a script supervisor. I didn't realize the importance of the actual logistics. So I'm trying to deal with that. I'm trying to direct the actors and, talk with the DP. And it's just all going to shit. And then the sound guy's telling me, like, we keep getting ambient noise because we're in the fucking field with traffic passing. It's like, oh, fuck. So,
well, people ask me a lot of things about that. The production manager, the script supervisor. I guess I'm it because I have. Well, let me correct myself. My wife, she's a fucking gem. This girl will work on a project for me, and she's the one puts everything together. She gets in touch with actors. She does all the emailing. She does all the posters. She does all the visuals that we use on Twitter and excuse me, LinkedIn, Facebook page, and all that. Without her, I might have a film, but I wouldn't know what the hell to do with it. I'd be barely able to watch it on my phone. I mean, she tells me what button, press that one there, Joey, that says on, and then that one over there that says off.
Press record.
So I guess she would be, it. But I know a lot of people. See, to me, again, as an amateur, you see a lot of people getting into filmmaking, and they really stress about a lot of things they don't have to. Having somebody to handle this, having somebody to handle that. You want your people who are going to handle the camera. You want your people who are going to handle the sound and handle the acting. Everything else, like Mox, right? That was you talking about the filmmaking? Yeah. Everything else is you, bro. You do it. You take care of that shit. You make sure your script is good. You make, you find your own location. You do what your thing. Don't. When you have all these other people doing things, sometimes it gets away from you. It's not what you had in your mind. It's not what you were thinking about doing. And we rely on the advice of our people here. If Roger says, hey, we got to move a little because of the sun, it's not move. Jake, my sound guy, says, we got to wait a little bit. We got to wait. So whatever they say is gold. But a guy like yourself, you want to make a film, just make it. Just do it. Just go out there. All you need is your people who are going to film it, your people are going to act it, your people are going to sound it, and the script itself. Everything else is gravy. You got it.
Got it, Mox.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, I think so too. Now, definitely, I like your approach. Find the skill positions, have them share a vision and let them work, and you manage the madness. Like I was trying to direct the fucking thing too, and also manage the craziness.
Right.
I think everything you said that your wife does and that you do, that is the important stuff. I mean, managing
It is.
that shit.
It is. I'll find the location for something because I write something. It's like it's my baby. I don't have to depend. I might not like the location you select. Maybe I want something with a wobbling bird in it or some shit. And so I'll go find where that wobbling bird is, and I'll say, "Oh my God, this is a great location over here." And as far as the script supervisor, I don't even know what that is. I have a script. I present it to the actors. Again, you want to change a line, change a line. If I like it, we go with it, man. I don't dwell on a lot of other. My fanaticism is let's film this. Let's film because I know on game day everybody's going to have a suggestion. Everybody's going to have an approach to do something. Sometimes that can get out of hand too. People want to go too far left, too far right, and you, if necessary, you got to rein it in and go. You know what? I think we got to keep it like this. I do like the sentence you wanted to add. God bless you. Put that in there, but let's not stray too far because actors and whoever sometimes they tend to make something maybe a little bit too much theirs. You want them to make it theirs too because you're going to get the best you can possibly get when they do that.
Right.
But if they try to make it too much, now it's not your story no more. And it's like, no, I don't want that said. That sounds stupid, or something like that. So it's a fine line, but as far as making a mass production out of a short, keep it simple.
True, yeah.
So yeah, you brought up a good thing too. Like, okay, so someone suggests something that's maybe a little too left field or right field for your vision. Now, do you humor them and just shoot it and then maybe cut it out in editing, or you just tell them straight, like, I don't think that's going to work, or we don't have time or money for it?
Yeah, no, I'm not. Well, if we don't have time or money, that's one thing. I'm not gonna humor somebody and let them think. That would be hypocritical of me to say, oh yeah, okay, do it, and then behind dude's back say, cut that shit out, man. I don't like that. I'll tell them straight up front, no, that's not going to work, and I'll present my reasoning for it. You guys probably didn't see We Love Selfies, but I had an actor who was basically dressed up as when he got dressed up, he was an escaped serial killer who was known by the title Giggles, and he liked to dress up in clown face, and he had a zipper stitched into his head, and Melissa Marie did great SFX with that, but he had no dialogue. The entire short film, he had no dialogue at all. He was just the silent killer. So there was the one scene where he was actually, after he killed the babysitter, and he said, because there was a line previously where the young girl said to the babysitter, "You're my favorite babysitter." And remembering that, Barry, who played Giggles, he says, "Hey, Joey, I know I got no dialogue, but what if I sit next to her dead body, pinch her cheek a little bit and go, 'You're my favorite babysitter'?" I says, "Oh, fuck, dude, that would be great, because how did you hear that unless you was like already in the house somewhere and you heard the girl say that to her?" So I said, "That is fucking beautiful." And he went with it, and it worked perfect. Every time I see that particular scene, it not only makes me laugh, it gives me a chill.
Yeah, because the inference is that he was in the house already.
Yeah, and that's another thing he did when we were filming the babysitter and the girl, Jordan King and Corey Graham. She was the babysitter, Jordan King was the girl. We had them in the screen porch area of my house. We were filming them doing some coloring book stuff. And again, Barry said, "Joey, what if I go into your shed back there, which is still in view of the camera, and I just slowly open it and peek out as if I'm in the location now and I'm watching them. So in other words, I'm going to be in that." I said, "Barry, man, that'll work great. That's fantastic." So he was 2 for 2. So he did that, and when we got it on the viewfinder, you see those two talking, and right about at that point where she says about being the favorite babysitter, you kind of see him leaning out from my shed with the door open, and then slowly closing it again. So now you get the inference that okay, he overheard that, and then he used it later on when he was hiding in the house.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. I kind of want to see that now. I didn't make time to watch it yet, but
that's okay. It's out there. I think it's on our Vimeo. I'm not 100% sure, but at request, I can always send it to you guys. It's so big. That was the first one that we entered in a festival. We never entered Precious Moments in a film festival because we kind of just forgot about it. I don't know why, but we just did. And then when we did We Love Selfies, we said, oh, okay, let's start doing the festival thing. And we put into our first one, which was at Top Shorts, which is a very well-known film festival online. We actually won Best Horror. So I was like, yes, score one for the good guys.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's awesome. I don't know about film festivals in the sense of like how recent the work got to be, but I think Precious Moments, if there is no statute of limitations on time from when it's filmed to now, like I would enter that shit. That shit is powerful, dude.
Oh, absolutely. That's another thing. Again, when you're doing this kind of stuff, low indie budget movies and stuff, you do what you can when you can. Now we got Because Reasons, which is going to be going into the festival soon. And these festivals, the better ones, they cost money. Not hundreds or thousands of dollars, but even one that costs like $100, it's like, okay, we could do that in 2 weeks. Because, you live how you live, and you go, all right, we'll get to that. So Precious Moments, definitely I want to put it to the festivals. At the moment, we're going with this one, then I got to come up with the budget for Cassandra. But we actually entered into negotiation with, I don't know what kind of cable you guys got out there. We got DirecTV in this part of the world. Yeah. So, you got the DirecTV. I don't know if you ever noticed the Shorts TV channel on there.
I think I've seen it.
Oh, they got some fantastic horror shorts, all kinds of shorts. They run the whole genre there. But we've actually negotiated with and we're accepted to have We Love Selfies put on their channel. I don't know when that's going to be, or how long, or what have you. But we signed a contract with them, and that was pretty cool too.
That is awesome. Now, as far as distribution, you saw that channel and you reached out. You found out how to fit into them? Or?
I'm sitting down watching this channel one day and I'm going, I can and I have done better than a lot of this stuff that they put on here. A lot of it is amazing, don't get me wrong. But then, you sit through some and it's like we were talking about before. So what the fuck did I just watch? Why did they even make that thing? So I said, let's just see. So they were looking for that. And it's funny you mentioned it because we had actually sent Precious Moments and We Love Selfies. They had run out of slots at the time for dramas, which was what Precious Moments was considered. They said, but we do have an opening for horror. I said, well, horror it is then.
Horror it is. I was going to ask you too, what draws you to the horror genre?
Oh, I love being scared, man. It's hard to find a movie that actually scares you. I'm older now, but what used to scare me as a kid, if you could elicit the same thing in me again, and other than, maybe Paranormal Activity or something like that, Freddy just ain't doing it. Jason, you don't scare me with those freaking movies. You inundate me with blood and body and everything else, but you're not scaring me. So I'm constantly searching for something. And the ones that scare you, those are the ones that are actually the intelligent ones. The ones that have a little plausibility in them, we all know pretty much there are no supernatural killers from Camp Crystal Lake that you can't kill in 18 sequels, but there are serial killers out there. There are escaped serial killers out there. So I try to get something that could be a little bit grounded in realism, and go with that, because life itself could scare you. So if you could make that life even more, that real life situation, if you could make that even more twisted, where people are going like, oh my God, that could happen to me, then that's a good horror.
That's true. I think,
but scare me, baby, scare me. I love comedies too. I would love to be able to write a comedy. I just, I can't, like, I can make a room laugh sometimes, but when I sit down and try to think of a comedy, blank, absolutely blank. So when you draw blank, go back to what you know.
Right. So I guess what burns up in your mind that needs to be told just generally tends to be horror because of your enjoyment of being scared.
Yeah, that precious moments. I tried to. I said, let me see if I could do something different. It wound up to be a little bit, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, supernatural, paranormal, because I needed that kind of an ending. But doing a good drama, that would be nice too. Maybe where necessarily people didn't die. I mean, I kill everybody. I mean, nobody really survives in anything that I do. But I try to kill them intelligently. Also, you don't have to mutilate the whole body to get your point across. Maybe you could just take out an eyeball with a poker, and that's a good way to die. There's a lot of good ways to die, but nobody has really survived yet. I don't think I want anybody to survive in my stuff.
That's good, and I like that you search for plausible ways, because a lot of times, especially like you said with the slasher genre, it's almost satire the way that they kill it. Like, people getting their arms cut off, the head, and then it falls into the fucking oil vat, and then after that they run shoot it with a missile.
Yeah, I think I probably reached my high point when, what was it, Freddy versus Jason. These fucking guys spent 2 hours dismembering each other, burning each other. Yeah, I don't know if somebody's used a bazooka or not, but it didn't matter. Nobody died. And don't tell me that you tied him to a rock and threw him down there. That's the end. No, it's not the end, because the chain's going to rust. He's going to break the fucking chain. He's going to come back, and we're going to have a rematch. I can't do it, dude. I can't do it.
Let's talk financing. How do you budget a film, and then how do you go about funding your projects? Have you made use of what do you call that, crowdfunding?
I tried that once. I was probably overzealous and asked for too much, and I learned a valuable lesson that, see, with crowdfunding, the less you ask for, naturally, the better. Crowdfunding, unless you're a name. It was a TV series that went off the air, and I forget what it was. They wanted to bring it back, so the actors and actresses, they did a crowdfunding thing. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But whoever it was, they was asking for like $2 million. They had like $5 million within a week. $5 million. So it was branding. People knew them. People knew the series, so they had no problem. When people don't know you, don't know what you're pitching, you usually get, now if you do it like we go through social media and everything else, trying to get crowd, and people will retweet till they die. They will help. They will support. They will, hey, give this guy a $1. But when you sit there for 30 days and you watch that motherfucking clock on zero, and it's like, oh my God. And then you start reading about crowdfunding, and you learn that most of the money you're going to get, unless you're a name brand again, is going to come from family and friends. So the $235 I came up with from family and friends was a far cry from what I actually needed. So, I gave everybody their money back when it was all over. And I said, this is not the way to go. Now, you take somebody again who's got a name, they did something, it's been done once, and people love the show. Hollywood doesn't want to finance them for a second round. So the guy goes, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going on crowdfunding. I'll make this thing myself. He is going to succeed because people have seen his work. People went to the theaters. People loved it, hated it, whatever, but they know him. So crowdfunding for me didn't work the first time. And so if you do crowdfunding and you aren't successful and you say, well, that's it, I guess I'm not going to make any films, that's bad, because there's other ways to do it yourself, like I do. I self-fund. I put money aside every month. When I have what I need, I go, okay, we have a budget now. Nothing has ever really gone over. And if it does, we always have a little cushion in there in case, dude wanted an extra fucking sausage with mustard on it. All right, well, we got enough money to cover that sausage with mustard. No, give him the good mustard, the spicy shit. Excuse me. So we don't like to be strong, because also, when we guarantee people this is what you're going to get, this is what you're going to get. And sometimes if we can, we like to, what? Here, I'm giving you a little extra because, you performed amazing. And I just want people to leave here with a smile on their face, because when they're here, they have a smile on my face because of what they're doing for me. So I feel it's imperative to reciprocate.
Right. Now, after do you write with a budget in mind, or you just let it hit the page and then you go through it after and kind of itemize?
Well, yeah, you have to. I've had other, sometimes people, like, I'm on LinkedIn and whatever, and they see some of the projects I've done. I got a lot of these authors out there, screenplay writers, and they're sending me stuff on, hey, read this, hey, read that, hey, read this. This is a sci-fi thing with, we're flying to the planet Cantaloupe, and on there's a war that's been waged. We got phaser rifles, we got pulse cap. Whoa, dude, that costs more than $25 there. What the fuck? We're gonna do with a phaser pulse cannon. What? So I got to turn, and I explained to them nicely. I do small budget stuff, and this is way out of my realm. So absolutely, when you're going to film something, and you probably know that as a filmmaker yourself, you got to keep it within parameters of what you can afford. You can't have that flying X-wing fighter because I don't have one. I nobody on Classified answered. I have an X-wing fighter I can let you use for your freaking show. So yes, when I write something, and I try to keep it as simple as possible, knowing that, wow, this is a workable budget here, man. This is a workable budget. And most of our films, we haven't hit I think the most we've gone for on a short was $1,500.
Wow, total production?
Everything, including the sausage with the fucking mustard on it.
Wow. Damn.
So, that's a respectable budget, man. You do a lot.
We try. We pay our guys what we can. We try to give them raises, as we go along, what we can. And we know that most of these people, when they come to show up at my house, they're coming mostly for the love of it. So the money and the food and the IMBD credits, that's just a kicker for them. That's like, great. This is how you're supposed to treat me as an actor that's coming to do something for you. And that's how we treat them. But yeah, and sometimes even if I had $3,000 for a budget, I might not need it. It's like, what do I need the extra $2,000 and change for? What am I putting? Am I going overboard now in effect? Am I hiring too many people for parts that if you don't need some, I don't do a lot of with extras because I don't need extras. I try to keep the cast as short and simple as possible, 2 or 3 people. We went over and because reasons, but that was cool because, it was a more involved story. But the less that I have, the better it is for everybody involved. And I love being able to accomplish something like that for an amount of money that I could come up with and actually film it.
Right. I mean, that definitely makes sense. So what do you feel is one mistake or maybe a most common mistake that filmmakers make, maybe regardless of experience, huge budget or even indie, at your level that you've seen or on the Shorts channel? What do you think is the most common or the worst mistake?
I'm going to have to say, well, one of the things is when people who are take too much, excuse me, upon themselves, like you're an executive producer, but you also want to be the director, but now you also want to become like the camera person, and you're also your own script supervisor. So any suggestions that come your way, maybe they're taken out of context, or somebody's trying to steal my idea or ruin my vision, or people feel, and I've heard stories like this from a lot of these actors, that they feel so humiliated and berated at a shoot that they're showing up for free a lot of times to do. That they're just, whoever is running the show is just so overbearing and so hard to work with. Some of them said we was almost in tears.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I think that becomes, you got to be flexible with this kind of stuff when you're filming something. You got to give people a little bit of movement there. Let them. These people are creative. Let them show their creativity, however it is, whether it's in a hand gesture or a look on the face, an expression, an extra line of dialogue. Let them be creative. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. A lot of times it will work. So, other than the horror stories I've heard, which we haven't run into, dude left the camera, this one didn't show, that one, we've been free of that. The worst thing that I've heard was that kind of thing, having to work with somebody that's so difficult to work with. It ruins their creativity. It makes them just want to get out of there. Some of them have actually left on set. I don't see a necessity for it myself, but one of the things that's as pleasing as maybe one day having somebody option one of these short films and turn it into a feature is that every time these people, whoever they are, leave my house, one of the things we get back glowingly is, I can't believe how well you treated us. And that right there is as great as making a film. Just to know that, because I'm from nobody in this business. So, and these people have been doing it for many, many years. So just to know that I got it right, I treated these people right, I interacted with them right, I made them happy, I made them freaking smile even after they left, and now they're telling me and my wife how great we were to them, and what a pleasure it was to work for us, and can't wait till you're going to make another film. Please consider me. That right there is that's priceless, dude. Priceless.
I wonder if, the reason that you've had all of these good breaks with your cast and crew is because of your mentality. It seems like you have a reverence for their time and talent, and maybe you feel responsible to them, and maybe thankful and grateful. I think that attitude really, you put them first. And it sounds
yeah. Not only that, it's kind of like, I'm trying to accomplish something here. They're trying to accomplish something here. If we can help each other, if you have a suggestion for me that can help me attain my goal and your goal, let's do it. I don't see why. There are a lot of people out there that would, again, take it the wrong way. Like, hey, I'm the director of this fucking thing. I wrote this thing. Don't change a line. Don't. Okay, that's fine too. Whatever works. To me, if we're going to try to make money together, and you can help me make that money, and in turn, I can help you. The funny story was 600,000 from the guy who made it. He went on to make hundreds of millions. Those actors, they were paid $500, and that's it. They didn't get a dime more for anything that was made upon Paranormal Activity 12 or whatever they're up to. I've always told everybody, and it's not a fairy tale, it's just waiting for that moment to happen, that if that ever happens to us, you're guaranteed a slice of anything that we make over here. Guaranteed, because you helped me make it. Without you, I wouldn't have it. And I'd be a real piece of shit if I said, hey, I made mine. You got your $500 that I paid you, man. Get out of my face.
Right.
To me, that would be horrible. But it goes on in this business everywhere. But I like to let these people know that if we get lucky that way, you're going to get yours too.
I like that. And I think that's only fair, you know.
But I could never. It's just me. It's my nature. I couldn't do that to people. And that's another thing I've had actors say to me. Nobody's ever offered me that before. I said, well, I'm not, nobody. I'm me. I'm Joey Sorrentino, and this is the deal that I'm giving you. And I give it to them in writing too. I had no problem with it because I'm not going to lie to them. It's what I want to do. It would just put such a smile on my face. It's like being able to walk into a restaurant or a diner, order a hamburger, and give the girl a $500 tip just to see that look on her face. And you made her week. So that's, Italians, we're idiots, man.
Well, that sounds awesome. I mean, it's about that look. So I guess last question, and we kind of touched on this before, but what are the top 5 things / people to spend money on in a production?
Well, you have to have your you got to have your camera and sound people. They're imperative. They're the ones that are actually going to get it on film for you.
Those two would be at the top two, sound and the camera, or just in no particular order. These are the 5 most.
Well, if you're gonna go with top 2, I'm gonna have to say crew and actors. That would have to be You got to have a great crew, man. You got to have great actors, and part of the crew. I got a sound guy, and I got to include the SFX. If you're gonna have SFX, you're gonna have somebody who's completely talented. And the girl we have, she charges us dirt compared to what she charges other people, just because she loves working with us, and she does fantastic work. But yeah, if your cast and crew aren't up to par, then you have a shitty film.
Yeah, I've heard that sound is imperative, right? Some other filmmakers are saying that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Have you ever watched a feature, something that maybe you're watching on HBO or Showtime, and you're like, what the fuck are they saying? I can't hear this. Turn the volume. Then you got to turn the volume up, and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 now you got to turn it down. And you think to yourself, this is millions of dollars to produce this thing. They couldn't get that sound right. It blows my mind. I just don't understand how that works. And many films, you're sitting there going, oh my God, did I just lose hearing? I can't hear what they're saying. Sound, everything is so critical. You could have great sound, but that guy can't edit, and that guy can't really film, and he ain't got the right angles, so screw your sound, and vice versa. Everything has to be perfect to make a great film, whether it's a feature or a short.
Right. I definitely agree. Yeah, you can definitely see or feel when something is off, and it just kind of ruins the overall experience.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder how much money did they put into this that they couldn't get. I don't know if you ever watched Tombstone with Val Kilmer. Okay, maybe you noticed how when they actually had the shootout at the OK Corral, how Val Kilmer Doc Holliday fired 3 shots from a double-barrel shotgun. I caught that immediately. I said, oh, yeah. I rewound. I said, whoa. I know a double-barrel shotgun. That's 2, double. One, and one, 2. He fires it 3 times. And I'm like, how the hell did you not catch that in editing? And a major show like this, it looks stupid. But I enjoyed the whole movie. I love the movie. But it's little things like that. How did you not catch that?
Right. I mean, that's such a huge movie that I'm gonna actually go look for that now. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He fires up. He fires down. Then he fires again. Well, actually, he fires like a shot for the horse to move. Then he fires the other 2 rounds out of the shotgun. It goes off like 3 times. I'm almost positive. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe that. So yeah, things get past people.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they do a lot.
I'd imagine because it's such a big
Well,
crew. So.
Yeah,
right. But I mean,
that comes down to the editing, and I'm sure during the filming he didn't pause to reload. I guarantee you they didn't pause to reload. Unless something went wrong where they had a cut and they forgot, so they put an extra shot. I don't know, but you know. But hey, it was a major movie, major success. So I'm not. It's just, but there's so many films that you'll catch stuff like that in and go, "Did you see that?"
I'm gonna have to watch that again. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, and if I'm wrong, let me know. But I don't think I am.
Cool.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure you caught it. There's definitely some big movies with some huge snafus. Like, do you remember Demolition Man? Wesley Snipes,
vaguely.
That guy.
Well,
he had one yellow, one blue eye, and they kept switching throughout the movie.
Oh yeah. That's right. That goes back a while. Yeah. Okay.
You missed that.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh yeah, and you see a lot of things like that where like, he had one shot he had on a set of black leather gloves. The next shot in the same show, in the same scene almost. He's got no gloves. They go, whoa. What was it? I didn't see him take his gloves. Maybe he took his gloves off, but show me he took his gloves off. Now I could go, okay, now dude, go and have gloves. But don't show me gloves on the steering wheel, and the gloves aren't there. Did they melt?
Yeah, that's the script supervisor right there.
Yeah, somebody missed
Guys,
that. And then
before you wrap up, before you guys wrap up, could I give a shout out?
Oh yes, for
absolutely.
Sure, man. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the bros out there, at Isaac Thorne, my wife Lisa, my little Rascal 8, and especially the casts and the crew, Roger Glass, Daniel Brown, Melissa Marie, Jake Chance, and everybody else from My Little Rascal Productions. Much love to each and every one of you. And shout out to you guys, too, for the opportunity to be on your podcast.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for your time,
Thank you for coming on, man. I mean, really enjoyed talking to you, and I really enjoyed your films, dude. I suspect more awards are to come, and I look forward to a feature narrative from you guys.
We'd love it. We'd love it. As soon as we're done wrapping as soon as we film and we got Cassandra done and completed, give you guys a sneak peek.
Nice.
Sounds great. You want to let the audience know where they can find you on Twitter, Facebook, that kind of thing?
Well, sure. At Facebook, we're at My Little Rascal Productions. At Instagram and Twitter, we're at My Little Rascal 1. And we're on LinkedIn at My Little Rascal. My Little Rascal is My Little Rascal. He's a rescue dog we found, a little Chihuahua Terrier who's actually become a terrorist. But, we kind of loved the dog so much we gave him his own production company. He's got more airtime than any of us involved.
Nice.
I mean, he's on Twitter, he's on LinkedIn. He should be a star, and he doesn't pay me very well either. So let's just put that on the record.
For sure.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, where did My Little Rascal come from, and the logo. I mean, it's kind of an adorable, cute logo, and then it's a horror movie.
Yeah. The logo. The logo was made by a guy we was working with. He's a computer guy. He does CGI and stuff. And he said, I'll make you a vector logo. I said, yeah, I don't know what the hell a vector logo is. So when he sent it, it was such a right likeness. I said, oh my God, that looks beautiful. So, and when we were thinking of a name for the company, what are we going to call it? I don't know. And again, I'm an old head, so I remember the My Little Rascals that used to be on TV, black and white with alfalfa and everybody. And since his name was Rascal, Buckwheat, yeah. The whole group. You couldn't get away with that show these days, but back then it was, it was all good fun. Yeah, very good. You see the shit. I love the Woman Hated Club. But then it just popped into my head. And then since his name was Wrath, I said, how? And then we just, we went from there.
Nice.
Well, it definitely works. It's a stunning logo. All right, Joey. Thank you very much, and we will
Hey,
definitely
thank you,
let you
guys.
know when we air the episode.
Yeah, much love
please
to you
tell
and your
Lisa
partner.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
no
you, Joey.
problem, man. No problem. I'll be interacting with you guys on Twitter.
For sure, man.
Sounds good, bro.
All right.
All right,
We'll
bro.
talk soon.
Thanks for the chance, man.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, man.
You too, bro.
Have a
good day.
All right. Yeah, you too. Both of you.
Bye.
Bye.
This is a Nekko Media